Oh shit, I'm live. What's up? Sorry, changing out my jewel pod real quick. I was getting my stuff rearranged in the back. I think it's looking pretty good. What's up, El Chingon? What's going on, brother? Mikey, Chandler. Do you see I rearranged? Kind of everything back in order. Got the knife hung. Put some LED lights under some of my glass right here. I think it looks pretty good. What's up, Seagull? What's up, Jay? What's going on, everybody? I was just telling everybody, I don't know if you can really see it, but I got some LEDs here behind all my fancy bottles here. DJ, what's up, my brother? Eric Shaves. I joined like a minute early, just because. Classy. I thought so. The knife looking nice. Yeah, it does. So, oh, Mammoth is here. What's going on? What's up, man?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Not much. How was your day?
It was all right. It was all right. How about you? How you doing?
It's good. I'm glad you're here. Glad you made it. We got some people already showed up. I'm glad you finally were able to make it.
Yeah.
Show up. Tim is here. Ollie's here. Got a good crowd going. Well, I don't think we need to waste any time. I know you've had a long day. Let's talk about your company. Let's talk about Mammoth. I personally know nothing about your company, what the whole reason was behind why you started this, and why you're as popular as you are right now.
Yeah, sure. Well, basically, I started wet shaving a little over a year ago. So a year ago this past November. And
Okay.
so a good friend of mine that I grew up with and went to school with and so on, he was really the guy who got me into it. And, when I would go over to his house, he would bring all of his soaps and I'd go, oh no, here we go again. He's going to make me smell all the soaps. And he was really into it. He was telling me about all the different companies, Barrister and Man and Declaration and all of his favorite soaps. What's up, Latherhog? How you doing? So anyway, eventually he prevailed on me. And so I basically joined the community, and they invited Facebook groups. And that was kind of my introduction to this wet shaving hobby community, which is really, really amazing. So through that, I really started to meet some really, really great folks and, had no thought at all about making my own shave soap. But I had been making bath soap with my wife together since about 2014. Just a fun side project. And, I remember just kind of thinking, what's the difference between the shaving soap that whips up so dense and slick and whatever? And man, I just want to try that. So I, Googled some recipes online and they were terrible. They were just really, really terrible recipes. Nothing like, the quality shaving soap that I was using from all these artisans. And so that kind of started something in my mind. I'm kind of like I can't let it go. I have to solve that problem for myself, and just kind of kept on reformulating and testing and getting new ingredients and sending out samples and just kind of. So that was really where this whole sort of journey started. Went through about 30 different versions of that shape.
Wow.
And along the way, kind of midway through, I said, you know what, this could really be something. I have a full-time job and a family. I have a 2-year-old child. And, oh, what is this? My wife just brought me a little whiskey, I guess.
Nice. Well, I actually made a poor judgment and bought a whole bottle of champagne.
Oh.
I normally buy beer, but tonight I'm like, you know what, I'm a bottle of champagne, and this is all I've got left. So, yeah.
Nice. No, now tell me you drank that whole bottle and you didn't just. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I drank that whole damn bottle.
The whole thing? You seem
I drank the whole thing.
for having drank a whole bottle of champagne.
So how long have you been selling soap now? Do you sell soap like on your own website, or is it only through other companies?
Yeah, so it's only through West Coast Shaving. So sort of early on, Mammoth Soaps is quite different from pretty much any of the other soap companies that are out there in two important ways. First of all, it's that I am a hobbyist. So I started to say before, I do have a full-time job. I run a children's nonprofit children's organization. So we serve about 900 children in a year, and so that's kind of my main focus.
Sure.
So this thing was always going to be something that I just kind of did on the side, and I'm really inspired by Chad from Talbot Shaving, who is a hobbyist. He has 4 girls. He has basically makes soap as a passion on the side. And one of the things that really struck me about his soap, not only was it incredible quality, but there was kind of like a lot of stories and a big heart behind it. And in fact, he was donating $1 from every tub to the Trust for Public Land. And he started, and so, it kind of showed me that, there's a big heart in the shave community. And, there's something that for me, for a really, really long time, there was a cause that was close to my heart as well. And so the other way that my company is a little bit different from the other shave companies is that really the main focus of what I'm doing is to be able to raise awareness and to raise funds to fight human trafficking.
So that's what made you, that was the whole reason behind you starting the company?
Yeah, that was, so basically 2 reasons. One was that, I'm a creative person and I really love to be able to share this stuff with people. And once I realized, and I was getting really good feedback from the soap, people kept telling me, you need to make more of the soap, you need to put it out. And people that hadn't gotten to try it were saying, hey, can I have some? And there was a demand for it. It wasn't that I was saying, hey, everyone, you need to try this soap and everyone should buy the soap. And so there wasn't really a big hype machine. It was just kind of organic.
Sure.
So there was a call for it. And I started to realize that, this might be something that I could do. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the full-time artisans like Chris from Katie's Bubbles. Just a wonderful person, hilarious, and makes really great soap.
Sure.
Think about Scott from Declaration. The soap is fantastic. Some great pens. His brushes and his knotting service are just through the roof amazing. So in that sense, I already knew that there were fantastic companies out there, really, really great products that these guys were making. So I don't really feel like there was any kind of a void. There wasn't anything that needed to be filled. But when I started to think about what I was inspired by with Chad and some of this stuff, I realized that there was a way that rather than having to be full-time and just constantly cranking out soap and keeping, people, the demand up and so on, that I could just put out, whatever I could make. And if people wanted it, they could buy it, and I'm feel really humbled and lucky that there is actually a market for that and that people really are interested. So I put out 3 scents so far. The next scent coming up is actually coming up, I'm hoping March 7th.
Okay.
Almond leather.
Ooh, I think I've seen you making that recently.
I just put a picture of this up on my Instagram right when you went live. So
okay,
this just went up on the Instagram. So this is the first time anyone's really seeing it. This scent is just what it sounds like. It smells like almond, it smells like leather. And, the first 3 were kind of more conceptual, where I was kind of inviting people to take a leap with me and say, hey, this is kind of what the scent is about. Good one, Ali. I like that. This is right side up and on the splash too. But
nice.
There was a story behind each of the first 3 scents. And, I know that some people in the wet shave community, and I'm one of them, you read the description of a soap and you think this is going to be amazing. And so you buy it and then you smell it and you think, that doesn't really smell what I wanted it to smell like.
Sure.
This smells just like almond and leather. There's some orange blossom in there. There's some frankincense in there as well. But pretty much what you're going to be able to smell is that almond. So I used a bitter almond essential oil. So if your skin is sensitive to almond, you should probably stay away from this one. But it's in a very, very small dose amount. A real almond essential oil has a bit of a cherry smell to it. So it's a bit sweet. So you're thinking about like your classic, like the Cella type of scent. That almondy kind of a smell. That's a very a famous Italian shaving soap that's been around for a long time. And then it has a nice leather component to it as well. So you're going to get both the sort of cellar kind of a scent, and you're going to get the leather kind of scent. And in terms of leather, it's not a very dirty leather. It's more of like a soft leather, like a suede. So that's really the two main components. So this is kind of like the first scent that I'm putting out in my kind of keep it simple, stupid type of sense. So it's just, there's nothing complicated about it. There's nothing that's really gonna surprise anybody. It's just something that smells really good and that you're really gonna like.
That's
So
awesome.
almond, and if you like leather, this is basically, that's what you're gonna get out of it.
Now, let me ask you, just from somebody who hasn't used your product, besides your cause, which I know is a great cause and everything, but why the hell does your soap sell out so damn fast?
I'm not really sure. I think it's two things. One of the things that I said before. Eric, I'll tell you in just a sec. One of the things is that I really did spend a lot of time building relationships in the community through Facebook and through Instagram. And I think that what ends up happening is, so basically every scent that I've made 75 tubs around about there. And it's a good amount of soap. You know, if you talk to, most of the folks that do ship soap, that's about, their batch. So it's not that some folks have said, well, if you're just making 10 soaps or 20 soaps, of course it's going to sell out. The truth is I'm not making 10 or 20 soaps. I'm making a lot of soap. And it sells out really quickly, I think, for two reasons. One is all the relationships that I've been able to develop with people, and even folks that I don't really know very well that hear about either the scent or that the soap is good, or they really resonate with the cause behind what Mammoth is about.
Sure.
Or, and let's be honest, I think a lot of people really, really like having something that a lot of people don't have. And that's just part of human nature, so when folks think, oh no, it's going to sell out real quickly, that just kind of drives interest. And so people will jump on it. That's a reason why a lot of these limited edition type stuff, type soaps and brushes and so on sell out so quickly, is because in the shave community, everyone likes to be able to show off that they have something that other people don't, So, I'm not naive. I know that's part of the reason why my soap is popular. But what I hope is that people really resonate with the meaning behind why I'm doing this. And I hope that they also really enjoy the full package. I've really tried to put high quality soap. I've really tried to make the packaging something that really is a nice presentation. I want to make sure that if I'm asking somebody to spend their money and to use this product on their face, this is one of the most sensitive areas of your body.
Absolutely.
It's going to be something that they can really be proud to have. I'm not trying to make something like what's out there already. I really want to make something that's going to be interesting, that people are going to enjoy and appreciate. And along the way, also feel really good about the fact that they're supporting a company that's raising awareness for one of the greatest evils, I think, that exists in the world today.
Absolutely. The causes mean a lot. Absolutely. And I know I've been trying to kind of keep an eye on the comments, and I know I've had a few people talk about how great your logo is. Who designed your logo? How did you decide on the logo? How did you decide on the name?
So I have to give credit for the name to my good buddy, Matt. So I've always had kind of an attraction, for whatever reason, to like elephants. So I was kind of brainstorming silly thing, like here's a toy for my son.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, in 2003, I actually had an online record label that I was running, that I had started,
Okay.
and the name of that involved elephants as well. So I was thinking about something with elephants, and nothing that I came up with, really was all that great, I'll be honest. But then my buddy Matt said, hey, how about Mammoth? And it just kind of struck. It just felt,
Felt right.
Felt right. So that was cool. I had to kind of look around and make sure that there wasn't anybody using something for a similar type product, of course. That's really important.
Sure.
The logo, I actually had a designer, an illustrator that I really liked. I explored, got some quotes from a few different people, and, it's expensive to have good design. And I really wanted something that I could, that would identify, that would stand out, that would look really good. and really something that I could, like you can see, each of my labels looks very similar. Spots, Michael, the cause is ending human trafficking. And that actually, it says it right there on the, I know it's reversed for you guys, but it says it right there on the label next to Mammoth Soaps. It says end human trafficking. And then on the back of every soap, you'll also see a statement of how we donate $1 from every soap. So anyway, I had reached out to a few different people. I actually hired an illustrator, and we were working on something, and a couple of delays, the quality wasn't really there, so I fired him, you know, and ate the money for it. You know, I really wanted it right. So I did a little bit more looking around and found somebody else and kind of pitched him what I was doing. It was quite a bit more expensive than the last guy, but it was worth every penny. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, you know, that's one of the things that, you know, you probably know. I know you guys have a good logo with Yoast to Coast. You got to find something that in some way it stands out and communicates exactly what it is that you want to do.
Absolutely.
It's the first and only thing that most people see before they decide whether they want to, you know, buy your product. So logo
Absolutely. I agree. And that's the thing too, is even though I've never used your soap or your product, as soon as I see that logo, I immediately know it's your soap. And so it's definitely getting the job done. It's impactful. I've seen a few people say that too. I think it's great. Somebody also mentioned too, I want to get kind of caught up here. Somebody also mentioned, when are you going to be re-releasing your first 3 cents?
Oh, okay. So one of the things that I've been very clear about is that I'm making one batch of the soap and then I move on to the next scent. So during the year when I was formulating the soap base, it also gave me a chance to try my hand at scent formulation. And it's one of these things where making a good soap is really, really hard, or making a really good soap is really, really hard. Scenting is a whole new ballgame. You know, that's why a lot of people just put out soaps that are, this one is citrus, this one is lavender, or they'll take, you know, dupes of various fragrances that they know is already popular. I don't have anything against that at all. I think that's a great approach, and, you know, definitely helps customers know what they're getting.
Sure.
Again, for me, you know, I just felt like it was a great opportunity for me to try my hand at something else that was very creative. Because once I had the soap base nailed, I really wanted to make sure that, you know, each thing was going to be a fun challenge for me. You know, I'm kind of a creative type person, and I get a lot out of that, the engagement, you know, trying to develop a concept, a story. I want the scent to be something that's interesting, that people can really enjoy in some way. So I spent the whole year not only testing out soap formulas and refining and stuff like that, but also developing a number of scents. So the short answer at this point is that I have about 15 finished scents, and I'm just going through them one at a time. You know, so if you really loved, or if you missed out on one of the first 3 or on almond leather, there's more coming. And at some point, you know, I might revisit other scents, the ones that I've done already, but not until I've cycled through, you know, these 15 that I already have developed and created. The one area that you might see scents reappear is I'm planning on doing some small runs of EDP, so like a fragrance version. And there will be a fragrance version of each of the first 3 scents that I put out.
Nice.
So there's 8 different fragrances that will come out, and they'll come out probably one at a time. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to Hugo or save it for maybe next winter. So we'll see. I'm not sure exactly what the plan is going forward, and I'm open to feedback and suggestions if anybody has any.
Nice. Well, I have only a couple more questions for you. I know you've had a long day. Question number 1 is, where do you see Mammoth in a year from now? Where do you hope to be?
So honestly, that's a great question, because when I decided to do this, I sat down with my wife, and we talked about, you know, what this would be about. And one of the reasons why, you know, I kind of wanted to why I started getting into the shave community in the first place was because I started to get real deep into some of the negativity with politics and society and just all kinds of crazy stuff. And I really wanted to put something positive out in the world. And, you know, there's a lot of negativity and there's a lot of drama in the shave community as well. And, you know,
Oh, absolutely.
it's tough. It's tough to avoid and tough to stay away from. And look, I'm human too, so I've gotten involved in some of this stuff, and I wish that I hadn't. I really want to try to stay as much as possible, making connections with people and being positive as much as I can. So the short answer, I guess, is basically that we decided together that we were going to do this for a year, and then after a year we would look back and see how it went. So when I have something 12 to 15 cents, like I said, basically planning on trying to get them all out within the year. So
Nice.
we launched last November. So when it comes time to 2019 holidays towards the end of the year, we'll sort of look back and we'll see how did it go. Were we able to make an impact? Was it worth it financially, especially? Was this something that, with all the investment of time and energy? Look, I mean, all day I talk to people, I get messages from people. It's nonstop, so even though I'm a hobbyist, I'm basically on call with customer service, basically full time. Even though my soap is distributed through West Coast Shaving, I still have questions regularly and constantly about distribution and drop dates and all the other stuff that I have to answer. So, it's a lot of work. I'm not complaining about it by any means. I really feel humbled that I can do this. Not everyone is able to do this. I've put a lot of work and money and time into it, but it's not something that I take for granted or that I ever want to take for granted. So,
but obviously, you're seeing the amount of labor that it takes. You're not just crapping out a soap and throwing it on the market. There's a lot of formulation, testing, trial and error that's involved in it, and you're seeing what that's like. So, I get that. Now, kind of changing subjects real quick, I'm trying to keep an eye on the comments. I've had a few people ask, are you working on any pre-shave oil or beard oil that matches your scents?
I am not. I could very easily, if I had more time, could very easily expand into doing other products. Some of those products are not really that difficult to make. It really just has to do with, whatever I put out, I want to make sure that I'm doing it properly, that the presentation is good, that I've tested thoroughly, whatever the product is. So really the only thing that's out there that has my name on it that I didn't develop is the aftershaves. And if anyone has been following the aftershaves, every scent, it's been a slightly different version or formulation of the aftershave. Why? Well, it's my own fault, I can't just say, hey, that's a great aftershave. I have to say, hey,
Sure.
change this thing. Hey, can you tweak that? So basically, I'm not really planning on doing any kind of oils or anything like that. I would love at some point, to be able to do that stuff, but that takes all that stuff takes time, and it's time that I'd rather be focusing on creating and putting out new soaps. The other thing that I've been doing, which has been really fun, I think a lot of people really love, is collaborations with other artisans.
Yeah, sure.
So, one of the things that I feel like is so great about this hobby is the community, and even the fact that, relationships lead to other relationships. And, you, for instance, I met through Latherhog, and he's a guy that I grew up with. We went to high school together.
Oh, nice.
Otherwise, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
Exactly.
So those relationships are really, really important. So you guys know I did brush collaborations and raffles and auctions and stuff with Milton from Turn and Shave, who's a guy that's based out of Chicago. And he makes custom shave brushes, and he also does the drops. The second one was with Luton Brushworks out of Las Vegas. And Ian Ryan is a guy that I've gotten to know. Not only does he have an amazing mustache, really good brushes. He just launched within the last year, and he's great at turning wood brushes. And then he goes even further, and he does this really cool Lichtenberg effect, where he actually uses electricity, thousands of volts of electricity, to burn the wood. So that was another one. And then the last one with Funny Valentine, we did a collaboration with Rob from That Darn Rob, and he made not just a couple of brushes, he made 8. And so I had the Mammoth coin, and some of them we auctioned, and some of them we did silent auction. And I want everyone to know, if you're watching this, that Mammoth is absolutely about the cause. and we want to raise awareness and raise funds. And we've been able to donate well over $4,000 to end human trafficking to 2 different
That's
charities.
incredible.
But along the way, we're also a business. We're not a charity. So
Sure.
in order to be able to make great products, and in order to be able to continue to raise awareness and to be able to do those donations, we've got to be viable as a company. So,
Absolutely.
that I think I want everybody to know that, if we sell something and we take a profit from that, that money goes right back into the next scent and the next product and the next collaboration. This engine needs to keep going, and it needs money to go forward. So it's a little bit of both, and I want to make sure that there's no confusion about that. We're not taking in thousands and thousands of dollars and, sitting back and smoking Cubans. We find something that's special for the world and put something out that's positive. So every dollar that comes in, some of it goes to charity, and we're very, very clear about how much and which dollars go to charity. And the rest of it goes right back into paying for supplies, labels, ingredients, research, shipping, and so on and so forth. So anyway, that's basically it.
Well, that's awesome. I appreciate you coming on tonight. I don't want to keep you too late. I know we've got a great response, but when is almond cream out now, or almond leather out now?
Almond leather, the tentative drop date is going to be March 7th.
Okay.
I don't like to publicize or make official the drop date until the soap has hit the warehouse.
Sure.
So, that's just kind of partly the way that it works is I make sure that the soap is made. Then I make sure that the soap gets shipped. I ship it with insurance and everything, and I make sure that soap arrives at the warehouse. Once it arrives at the warehouse, let's go. All right, it's ready to ship. So that's when I'll put the drop date. I'll make it official. So
let me ask you one more question. For somebody like me who hasn't tried your soap but wants to get it, or other people who have said, man, I want to hear about Mammoth tonight, but anytime I go to buy their soap, I put it in the cart, and as soon as I go to check out, it's gone. Yeah. What tricks or what tips do you have to give to people who want your soap who haven't had a chance to get it? How do we stay on top of it?
Yeah, there's really no tip to it. It's basically that it's whoever's fastest will get it. The same thing happens with limited edition sneakers or concert tickets or whatever it might be. There's a limited quantity of them. So if you're the fastest, you get it, and if something's in your cart, but somebody else checks out before you, it's gone.
Somebody said your Funny Valentine sold out in 13 minutes.
Well, I'm not one to brag, but it wasn't 13 minutes. It was more like 2 or 3.
That's impressive as hell.
No, you got to keep it real, because the truth is, that's what people were telling me, and there's no huge conspiracy. People try to act like, there's some kind of big conspiracy, or there's some big, favoritism, or someone got hurt or whatever. Look, the truth is, there's X number of tubs. It's just like when you want to get a brush from Declaration, or a razor from, Wolfman, or whatever it might be. You have to be there ready to grab it. The difference is that we tell you exactly where to be, tell you exactly when, and you get on there and you got to make it happen. Now, I will tell you, what's up? I will tell you that browsers have the ability to have your information saved.
And so I'm reading comments. People are like, save your info, save your credit card, have it all ready to go.
It's just the truth of it is, if you're sitting there and you're kind of hunting and pecking with your fingers, trying to type in your address and credit card information, the soap's going to be gone. All right.
That's
so
crazy.
That's just part of limited quantity and high demand. So, I would love if everyone could get a chance to try. Everyone that wants to try would be able to try. But unfortunately, that's not always possible.
Well, Ben, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for entertaining me for a while. I think people were super happy. I'm happy because I got to know more about you and your company. I definitely want to check you out at some point. Do you have any anything else you want to let? This is your time to plug your company. Talk about your cause, what you have coming out.
No, listen. So, so if anyone's watching, I actually told Yost earlier that I had a long day today and I wasn't sure I could stay for too long. But I also don't want to jump off if there's other questions for that anybody wants to have answered. So feel free. Maybe we'll just kind of wrap up with a few minutes of Q&A. But
Sure.
for me, I just want to say thank you to everybody for all of your interest. You know, I'm just a dude making soap, and I really appreciate it. You know, it wouldn't be anything. I wouldn't be able to do anything unless you guys had that interest, unless you guys were liking and commenting, unless you guys were asking questions, unless you guys were buying the soap and enjoying it. All right, we've got a question, Last Stand Designs. The next soap after almond leather. So in April, I'm actually planning to be at the NYC Expo, which is going to be in New York City, and it's sponsored by West Coast Shaving, Pasteurs, and the Shaving Shop / Club. So I'm going to be at that expo, and I would love to see if you guys could make it there. Come on out. There's going to be, I think, 7 different shaving artisans there. I'm going to have a custom scent that I'm making for just that event, and it's called Sonder.
Excuse me.
It's a lemon scent that has some florals and some green, and there's a sandalwood base. It's really, really nice. Hold on.
Oh, excuse me. That's awesome. Another company. Somebody said, where in New York is it?
Where in New York is the event? It's in Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen. Oh, really? Nice. Somebody said, can you make 150 soaps a drop?
That's probably possible, but I'm not planning to do that.
Okay. And then who is your final scent approver?
My scent approver is probably my wife. So it goes through I've gone through a couple of different iterations. So when I have a concept for a scent, I would basically say, hey, we'll try to brainstorm it. Let me kind of think in my mind of what's kind of top, middle, and base notes. The event, the expo, is going to be April 13th. I'll post a bit about that on my Instagram too, as it comes up. So
awesome.
Anyway, then I'll take some of my fragrance components. I have kind of like a lab table, whatever you want to call it, and it's just littered with little bottles all over the place. And my method right now is I'm using toothpicks, and I get like little shot glasses, and I will have a piece of paper, and I take very detailed notes about everything that I'm doing, and I will start off with the toothpick method, where basically I will take combinations and I will dip a few toothpicks in different scents, and I will combine them into a shot glass and sniff that, and then I'll kind of work from there. And I'll use that as kind of just like a quick and dirty tester, and then I'll move on from there. My wife will come along. She'll give it a smell too. We'll kind of both process it through a little bit. Then at some point, whenever we kind of get to something that really seems great, then it's time to mix up the actual fragrance and kind of test that and see how it really comes out. Because obviously toothpicks and shot glasses is not precise as it to be. Then put it in soap. So if you guys have ever had a soap set where the soap smells like one thing and then you get the splash and it's different, that's because soap tends to hide certain elements of fragrances. So we want to see how true is the scent when you put it in soap. So we'll make it in the soap. And that's basically the way that works. Then of course I'll send it out to testers. So I have a few testers that I really trust, and it's not the testers that last for me are the ones that are willing to say, hey, this is good, but it's not great, or hey, I really like this aspect of it or that aspect of it. I've had a lot of testers who've said, thank you so much for sending this. It's amazing. It's so great. It's the best thing I've ever smelled. And they say that about everything. That's not really helpful. If I'm trying to create something, I really would much rather have true, honest opinions so that I can make things. So anyway, so that's basically the process in terms of scent creation.
Now, one last question that I see is, can you give any hints towards your next brush collaboration?
Well, the next brush collaboration, we're going to be doing a similar thing to what we did with Funny Valentine with Rob. There's going to be a set and a brush that's going to be available as a raffle, and there's going to be a set and a brush that will be available as an auction. And then there's going to be a few more. I think there's going to be 5 or 6 additional that will be available. Not quite sure exactly how we'll sell them. I really enjoyed the silent auction format. I think people really liked it. It was kind of fun, something different. So I might do that again. I don't know if maybe folks are more interested in me just saying, hey, this is the price for it and go at it. That requires some kind of like a storefront format. So I would have to get into like Etsy and fees and all that sort of thing. So I think silent auction was a good way to go about it. This way, if somebody really, really wanted the brush, you know, they could put in that money and hope, you know, cross their fingers. And there was a really, really great feedback for that. So we'll see. As far as the artisan, I'm going to keep that a bit of a secret, but I will say the one hint that I'll give you is that this brush artisan also has a charity component to their brushes that they've been doing lately. That's all I'll say, and you guys will have a chance to put your guesses in the comments here and see if you guys can't figure out who that guy might be.
That's awesome. Man, thank you so much for your time tonight. I can't thank you enough. I'm glad I got to hear more about your company, your cause, your product, your passion. I have nothing else for you. Is there anything else you want to say before we call it a night?
No, that's it. Thank you so much for all you're doing to try to build the community. Look, the community takes all kinds and there's all types. And, you know, I really appreciate and I can respect somebody who says, here's who I am and I'm putting myself out there. You know, it's a risk to be able to do a channel like what you're doing. And I just wanted to say thank you for inviting me and giving me a chance to speak to your audience.
It was a pleasure. Anytime, you're more than welcome. People definitely enjoyed it. We had a hell of a crowd tonight. So I hope to work with you and talk with you in the future.
Sure thing, bud. All right. Have a good night.
All right. Take care. See you, man.
Right. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. I think tonight was a success. Make sure you're following Mammoth. Make sure you're following me. Make sure you keep up on their releases they have coming because it's going to be pretty dope. I'm excited myself. Take care. Have a good night, everybody.